Welcome to the Business of Pleasure podcast. We are back with season 2 in a brand new year, and we got some excellence going on over here today. I am back with none other than our company founder, Kandi Burruss, is in the building.
What's up, everybody?
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. I'm super excited to get things started.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to make sure that this year is filled with lots of wellness and pleasure. I want a good balance of both. So I know we're going to get into a lot of that conversation. I want you guys to know that this is going to be your one-stop shop where we put the fun in the funds and we put the sexy in success. Okay?
Ooh.
We get very, very, very fun over here at Bedroom Kandi. And I feel like this year is one of those years where I want to make sure everybody who's viewing this, I know we're always thinking about like, how are we gonna kick off our year? How are we gonna get centered? How we get refocused? And when we thought about this conversation, there was literally no one that I could think of who was gonna help add so much to this conversation more than none other than our BK loved expert. Dr. Tamara's how many years?
Oh my gosh, what, 11 years, 12 years?
It's been a long time.
We gotta give it up for that much commitment and dedication. Yes, we have gotta give it up.
Thank you.
Dr. Tamara is in the building. Now, I know that this woman has many of titles, but I would rather you share with them how you wish to be acknowledged. And tell them a little bit about yourself, Dr. Tamara.
All right, my name is Dr. Tamara. I am an Ayurvedic practitioner specializing in women's womb wellness, sensuality, sexuality, and healing trauma. All that.
Tamara, all of that in the bag. And then, of course, Kandi. First of all, Kandi, kicking off the new year with Bedroom Kandi, I would love for you to actually give me a word that you would like to manifest for your Bedroom Kandi family and support all of our listeners and our viewers. What is the word that we should be carrying into 2025 from your perspective?
Audacity.
Oh, audacity.
It's so funny because I had already been saying this. I felt like I had started working on me back in the fall of 20. I didn't wait till the beginning.
now,
I started working on myself towards, the fall of last year. And I had already started telling everybody, man, I'm going to be living my life with audacity in everything that I do.
Yeah.
Because, I've always been a person that, chased my dreams or go after what I really want in life and not really cared about what other people think.
Right.
But I think I just want to take it to the next level of just being audacious, just saying, hey, everything that you think I could not do, I'm definitely doing.
Yes.
And I'm taking it to the next level. And I thought it was kind of funny because you know how we all scroll on social media.
Exactly.
I saw someone who had did a post said you need to have the audacity of a white man. Oh, they said because they said because white men, they don't go into anything thinking about what other people think. That's or right. Or that it's something that is out of their reach.
Yeah.
She was like, most of the time they think, oh yeah, that's something I can do. You know what I mean?
No, it's true. I've never encountered one who had
like they don't feel like, there are places that they're not supposed to be able to walk into or
things they're supposed to be able to do
or say. You know what I mean? They don't feel like they have to tiptoe around people
at all.
Right.
That's it.
So I was just kind of like, I had already been saying I was going to live my life with audacity, but then I was like, oh, well, maybe I do need to live my life with audacity of a white man. That's next level. No,
right.
Just kidding. But yeah, it's still the same concept. You know what I mean? And so I always say audacity. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of confidence to
kind of execute. Yeah,
with audacity.
And I always say that confidence only exists with certainty. And a lot of times when people lack that self-esteem, it's because they haven't felt sure about whatever move you're making. And when you don't feel sure, it would literally stop you. And sometimes it's not that you can't accomplish it, it's because you stopped yourself. And I've been talking to therapists and stuff like that. And one of them asked me, well, what types of things have you failed at? And then I had realized I don't really fail at what I choose to do. I just stop. It's not necessarily some failure, but I talk myself, like you said, because we're asking ourselves, should we be doing this? Should I be doing that?
I always tell people that's stupid. You be your own worst enemy.
That's right.
You know, people always, talk themselves out of their own dream before, other people do it. So to me, that means you're your own hater.
Exactly.
You're your worst hater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the first thing people do is, oh, that's probably going to cost too much. Oh, wait, I don't know if I, I ain't even look to see how much it's going to cost. Oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because it's going to be a lot of people that's not going to want to buy it.
And we're looking for all the reasons why.
Why should.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I've been a little, I got a lot of audacity though.
You do. You have big audacity. You do.
Big audacity.
I said to myself, maybe I got to switch the word for this, but I don't think that, I'll be honest with you guys. I have absolutely questioned it, and not because of my own, but like you said, some of the things you said, just constantly, people are always going to have something to say. One of the things I learned is that you have to be present in wherever you are in the process, but it doesn't mean that you can't have awareness of where you want to grow towards. And sometimes you do have to do something that makes no sense to nobody and literally show them that, they always say the best and the most successful people are the people who dare to dream the impossible. So I agree with you. That limiting belief stuff.
And another thing, if it's just because you stopped doing it, might be also consistency. That should be another word of the day.
I like that. Yeah.
For me, I know that has been a thing with me. Like, I always try to be consistent in everything I do. But I'll keep doing something for a long time, and then all of a sudden I just
you feel like I'm doing something else. I don't feel like
and I need to get back into it. Look at me. Anyway, but I have to, get my mind motivated again in that thing.
Into the thing that I will say this, and I think they think that people who are already successful like yourself, Kandi, don't go through those questioning things all the time.
Every year this time. The same time every year.
It's like I got a schedule for it. Yeah. Dr. Tamara, what word would you manifest?
I'm still on unapologetically. Everything unapologetically. Now I'm adding the audacity. Unapologetically.
Audacity, right. Unapologetically.
Right,
audacity with no sorries.
Doing everything. No sorries. No is a complete sentence. And that's it.
She said
no. With confidence.
I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
No, with confidence.
No. Unapologetically.
This year, I think last year my word was vision. This year it's focus.
Okay.
I did a great job at picturing it out, but like you said, that consistency is one thing. And Dr. Tamara and I were having a short, quick convo earlier, and I said I can't give 10% to everything. When you're multitasking a lot, you're trying to figure out how to give everything the attention it deserves. And for me, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit here, then I'm gonna give it a little bit here, and let me get. But the needle is moving so slow. I'm not giving myself enough reasons to celebrate. Is what I realized, because it makes you think about how much you didn't complete versus how much you did when you're only. So I said, this year we're gonna focus. We're gonna knock them down one at a time. I'm grateful for all growth. I'm grateful for all opportunity. But I think this year it's like you need to pick that thing that matters most and
go hard,
full metal, and it's scary.
What's your birthday again?
March 8th.
Oh, Pisces.
Yeah, we live at the bottom of the ocean.
I never saw that as you.
Really? What you thought it was?
Definitely wasn't thinking that. Now, Dr. Mary, you are a Pisces, right?
No, I'm a Cancer.
A Cancer.
I'm still water on the water side. or the couch with a Taurus. Yeah, I think that's but sometimes that Pisces be doing thing give you a little trouble, just a little bit. But and I think it's because of my care. I care. I care sometimes to a fault. But my statement is that you cannot be passionate and purposeful without a paycheck. Okay, so I want to give that to anybody.
Right. That's right.
It takes a paycheck to fund the purpose and the passion.
That's right.
And that's one thing we always talk about at BK. We like to plug, an opportunity to find what you love, turn it into something meaningful, and then we have to monetize it, because people don't realize that it gets exhausting when you are pouring from an empty pitcher.
Yes,
that's right.
And the expectations of pouring will not stop. Everybody around you gonna be like, "Can I? No. May I?
No." and unapologetically.
And look, they got a little bit too much audacity to ask, right?
You have to have just as much audacity to say no.
No. So it's very interesting of a journey. I did something. I was so proud of myself last year. I became a best-selling author. Yay. But this year,
that's major.
I have had a book in my head for about 8 years, and I wrote the first chapter. So I was like, until I finish this book, we are not picking up no other projects. We ain't picking up no extra nothing. So focus.
Okay.
Focus. But I'm gonna have to add unapologetically and have the audacity to tell you no when you try to stray me from my focus. I like how these words
Yes.
So kicking off the new year, I wanted to ask each of you. I know, Kandi, you actually said you started a little early, and I probably think I think I involuntarily started in the fall because I deal with that seasonal winter. Yeah, I was a whole functional depressed. I don't even know, sometimes functional depressed. But I think that's usually the best time for me to take a look at what has you in certain heart spaces, so that when you are gearing up for the new year, like you said, you shouldn't have to wait. What is your protocol, or what are your rituals that you go into, Kandi, when you're trying to get centered and refocused and figuring out what you want to take down or what you want to chart your path towards? How do you, because you got a lot. So how do you separate all the noise long enough for you to be like,
well, I mean, and I always want to start everything out with, I do not have it all figured out. I'm constantly a work in progress and figuring things out, just like everybody else. Because I think that a lot of people look at me and think, oh, she has it all together. And it's like, no. I'm constantly, reworking the plan and figuring things out. So this year, I agreed with you. So for so long, people always be like, oh, Kandi has so many different things, but I said I wanted to narrow my focus in this coming year.
Okay.
So go through all the things and see okay, what do I just put effort into just because, but it's not really
the thing you're most passionate about.
I'm not most passionate about. It's not financially really doing anything for me. It may not be hurting me, but it may not really
be growing.
You know what I mean? So I started looking at, all the things that I was doing, and I said, okay, I'm going to narrow my focus, meaning remove some of these things off of my plate. And remember that I want to have physical body health focus.
Yes.
Right? So, I decided for years I put off the hysterectomy thing. I went ahead and did it at the end of November. So that's why I was kind of sitting down in December.
Chilling out.
I didn't really post a lot. I didn't have a lot, happening.
Which is okay.
Because
you're always giving some, so yeah.
I think a lot of people are used to me doing a lot. So I had, and I actually passed up a couple good jobs and a couple, things because, I was like, I keep putting it off for the sake of, somebody was going to pay me to do this, so I got to, So I said, nope. Good. Regroup, refocus.
I like that.
So I had lost the weight first, then I did that. Now I got all my doctor's appointments set, mammogram.
I'm trying to get like you, Kandi.
No, because when we get so crazy and hectic, we start putting those things off. And before you know it, it's be like, you should have, did something.
I literally know exactly what you mean when you say that, because I felt like I got forced. I guess sometimes your body is going to be like, so you don't want to give me no attention? Right. Let me do this to you. I was like, what's that? That one hurt a couple weeks ago. And then suddenly, so I agree with you on that one.
Right. So I'm working on that. Started overall looking at different businesses that I had, figure out which ones I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put my focus in these things and go from there. And the things that I do have to go back and say, okay, stop taking them for granted and put more energy and life into that. You get what I'm saying?
I 100% do.
So, you know, for me, it was the regroup. You know what I mean? And not, you know, sometimes, you know, things regroup you, like you said.
Right.
And I didn't want anything to regroup me. I wanted to start like really kind of like planning out. I said this year I was going to start doing better about planning ahead of time. So now I started putting things on my schedule ahead of time that I want to do, so I will make time for those things.
Right.
I planned my vacations already all the way up through June. No, up to June. I did 6 months.
Okay.
Because I'm one of those people who, if it ain't planned, it ain't getting done. So sometimes I go long periods of time and I really don't take time for myself.
Right.
Last year, you know, after, you know, leaving the show and stuff, I did take a few more vacations and time for myself, doing more things for family and friends.
Good.
But I said, okay, I'm going to do more of that this year because I enjoyed it.
And kind of get more of it going. I like that because especially when you're in work that sometimes take you on the road or moving around, people see you always traveling. So they assume
not a vacation.
It's not. And it's not. You ain't getting no good sleep. You ain't getting no good rest. You like, okay, I got to do this, turn around, be back at the airport.
Yeah.
And that's what I be doing. So not that I'm not going to do that. Because I still got to work. I still got to do those things. But I want to make sure that I plan those times to relax and re-energize.
Right. And not let it be movable.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
That's important.
Now, Dr. Tamara, you know, we're all about intimacy over here, but I do want to say this. We have to redefine the word pleasure this year on the business of pleasure, guys. Because I think every time people hear that, and even with Bedroom Kandi, they think about just the adult side of it, and they don't realize that the majority of what we offer is not even adult. We actually have probably 200 on a self-care, bath, body, cosmetics, and then maybe like 50 pleasure products. And everyone's always hearing the word pleasure. And they automatically associate to sexuality, intimacy, something like that. When I just define pleasure as whatever makes me feel good, or the pleasure principle, whatever makes me avoid pain, right? So I want to kind of help people understand how to define their pleasure, but not just focus on the intimate side, but from a more wide scale. And I don't think you can really do that without thinking about your senses and how you respond to certain things. For example, how do you know when you're feeling overwhelmed? What are your indicators? What are your signs? So I would really love if you can help shed a little light on how people could get better awareness of even what they're going through or experiencing so that they can get focused or centered or whatever they need to do.
You know, I think part of the challenge is that we spend most of our time either in the past or the future. We're not present focused. And when we're not present focused, we're missing some of those subtle cues that we need to be focusing on or paying attention to help us say, you know what, we need to take that time to rest. Because what happens to our bodies when we don't take that time that we need to take, it continues to grow and fester and becomes more disease and dis-ease in our body. Now we are at the space where we need a hysterectomy. Are we not at the space where we need some type of a surgery, or we need all this time off work because we missed those subtle cues because we weren't present in our body. And so we have to start being more intentional about being present, saying no with audacity and unapologetically.
Confidently.
She is not playing.
You know what? Because as Black women, right, we don't say no a lot of times to people. And that is part of our downfall because we try to be superwoman. And then as a result, we end up with all of this illness that we have because we couldn't say no. And now we're pouring from 10%. And now we don't have nothing left to give ourselves or our families. And so, we got to, take that time you need to take those vacations, but make that money though, too. Though.
She going to have me in the mirror practicing 10 ways to tell people, no. Looked into it, found out.
And with a smile, no.
I thought my mom gave me a book that had a whole chapter about the art of saying no. Because she felt like I'm always
kind of making conform,
trying to make it work. Be yes to people close to me, you know what I mean, around me. I'm always trying to do everything for everybody. So she was like, you need. And it was was very. I felt like it was helpful.
It was insightful.
Yeah.
I'm always honest, and I know that has not always been my easiest, especially when the no overlaps with an area that you do care about. But it may not be the priority.
But listen, just because you say no, it doesn't mean you don't care. It means
not
no.
Not
right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. No.
See, I'm telling you about 20 ways to tell y'all no.
The gift that I learned from the
book.
So it was something that was said was, as it pertains to like when people always ask you to be somewhere, ask you to do something. So it said, always say no when they first ask you to do it. Always say no. Because see, sometimes what we do is we say yes because we don't want to let the person down. But when it gets closer to the whatever it is, we start feeling anxious because either, maybe we don't really want to do it or something else came up. And then they like, if you cancel on that person, that's worse.
Right.
So the better thing to do is to say
no
up front. And then when it gets closer to the time, if you feel up to doing it, you can always call them back and say, hey, did you still need me to do X, Y, and Z?
I can see that.
I like that reverse.
I was like, that's a good one.
If you start with a no,
right?
You be
I mean, now if it's work or something like that, you got to
consider
time. But I mean, realistically, half the things that we say yes to is not anything that we had to do,
right?
But we get stuck doing it
out of obligation,
and
guilt,
out of obligation. It's so funny. I had to check myself because years ago, I mean, when I first started looking at side hustles outside of my, I was in politics before.
I didn't. I know.
I didn't either. You see me? I'm like, what?
I was a political strategist. I used to work and manage campaigns and all kind of stuff. So navigating that elected and labor union, I was out there, getting the people to go do what we need the people to do. And I did that from the age of 19. So I had said, how am I about to shift and do anything on the side that could potentially be the scandals that I'm over here trying to help get rid of, right? And I was realizing that the two industries overlapped a lot. But I was like, my son had just gotten diagnosed with autism at the time. And I was like, I really could just use a fun night. Let me have a girls' night. And I had a party. And that's how I ended up in this. Now, when people ask me all the time, how do you start this? I said, well, my son got diagnosed with autism and politics was taking too much of my time. A 10-hour, 12-hour day easily on a campaign or something like that. And now that he has all these additional needs, I'm not there. So I said, well, what can I do? What can I start to shift to? It's going to take some time to start making money. And my promise to myself was that I got into business so I could be available to my child. But then I found out last year that my business was the reason I was no longer available to my child. And that was the biggest slap. I was like, okay. And now he a teenager. And don't think that because they got autism that they don't still give you all the teenager. The way he cut his eyes at me when I tell him to do something or whatever, and I'm like, oh, silence has never been louder. So I think what I feel I got away from is realizing how much pleasure I derive from just being in the house with my kids, being there, being able to be present. Like you said, just being present, because I would be there physically. But I'm like, hold on, baby, mommy got to do a call. Hold on, baby, I got to jump on Zoom real quick. Hold on, baby, this and that. Before I know it, they in there making their own peanut butter jellies and all this kind of stuff because they like, she just ain't there. So, and I'm happy that they had the skills to
figure it out.
But I realized culturally, we teach a lot of times our kids learn things by lack because they feel like they have to fill in the blank. So I taught you how to make this sandwich, but it doesn't mean that as your mother, I still shouldn't be available to make my kid a PB&J every now and again if that's what we want. So I say that to say 2025, we look at the new year and we talk about the new year, but like you said, Ken, it is never a point where you can't get that moment to stop and start your year over whenever you decide. Whenever you decide. So, but we are about being festive over here and making sure we bring in a new year with something exciting. And for us, the new year also brings us right into love season, Black History Month, Valentine's, or, Galentine's, or Forget Love, whatever your song or story is, or whatever, your nose. And I wanted to kick it off with you guys. And we have a gift for you, Dr. Tamara, that I know Kandi is always giving people stuff. See?
Thank you.
She's always giving a goodie bag.
A gift that keeps on giving.
Always.
That's right. Always. For real.
And most of the items in there, Dr. Tamara, we have some of them out here, but there's some stuff in there for pain relief, CBD. There's also some Seduce Me for the sexy, pheromone enhanced stuff. But what I want to talk about is the new stuff. Okay. And then we also have some veterans out because I don't know about you. Whenever I set up the lipstick, I feel like Make Me Over and Candy Kisses just need to be there.
It does.
Right. Those are probably the only products in my house that are not standard traumatized. Nobody.
Right.
When they say
Right.
I cannot begin to tell you guys how many times
The Candy Pop.
Candy Pop is a good one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And hip hop a little too.
Yeah.
The discreet ones, because I'm always having to remember when people come to my house that not everybody has desensitized.
You're right.
I've been trying to keep them in the back, but every now and again. So let's kick into playing with it. And I want to mild to wild it. Let's soft it a little bit.
Okay.
Because we have some new lipstick that we are dropping this year. Now, Kandi, I want to actually put this one in your hand first because I was reading that.
Welcome to the dungeon.
Yes.
Ooh.
You know, we always trying to nudge her to come back with it, but I also recognize that she's taking stuff off her plate this year.
I'm not saying that the dungeon has to be something that I have to take off of my plate. I just need to find the right time to do it. And like I said, I need to put it on my calendar because what happens is, you know, we don't put it on the calendar and then time flies and you be like, dang, it's the end of the year.
Pushing it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do want to do it again.
Every time the dungeon happens, people are like, when is the next one? I'm like, they ain't gonna ever be tired.
The dungeon is wild. It's so fun.
But yes, this one was inspired by it. So.
Yes. Okay, so welcome to the dungeon, sex kitten, illicit kisses, and ready for this.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's pictures of handcuffs and chokers and high heels all at the bottom of it.
I love a subliminal hint, is all I can say. You know, you pull a tube out and the people.
Color, though.
Yes.
That is pretty.
Yes. And each of the colors that I love, the depth, the deep tones. Yes. Sometimes people be a little scared to play with them deep colors and tones, but I feel like a whole nother energy.
I've been playing around with them a little bit more lately.
Yeah,
especially since the fall. I've been getting into
the darker,
rich tones. I love our Juneteenth lipstick.
Yes.
It just gives a strong,
a powerful energy about it. Yeah, and people don't realize certain colors.
It's giving power.
Yeah, simple.
What's your power color? Period.
Illicit.
And I'm looking for a nice deep rich red. We were just talking about that before, so I'm looking forward to trying that.
Well, if you did like what you saw,
okay,
this is in that bag.
Ooh,
From what I know, this one is mine, so but that is the depth of the color.
I like that.
So y'all see what that looks like. And what I like about these kind of colors is they typically go on any complexion really well. Like some colors, I'll be out here looking like a candy coated clown. What? If I wear like a highlighter, and if it's not for a certain occasion, like certain colors you can't do every day.
I feel like as brown girls, it's a lot more colors that don't necessarily look as good on us as like on your complexion.
Really?
Yeah, because I kind of feel like, you know, it has to go well
with the
tone. Right, I agree. Because there's some reds that I can't. There's no way
that you can't mess with. And so I fight that with the lighter colors. Okay. I had put on one color one time, and I was like, I look like crack. My lips was looking ashy. But then it comes to playing with it, I started getting into ombre and realizing, okay, well, maybe if I give a different contrast, it can pull it out. So that's what. But I'll tell you this: before Candy Coated Cosmetics, I had like 3 go-to colors that I never deviated from. So I'm just happy to be playing in them. Yeah, yeah, because you know what it
only
looks
3
good.
lipsticks.
It was like if you went and got your makeup done and I did stuff like that, then I would play around. But like on my own self, I wasn't trusting. I'm like, I know this looks good.
Right.
Right. So these have actually got me a little bit more expansive and playing with tones, and it's been fun. So this is one of the colors that we are launching, which is a perfect little Valentine's Day. If you're trying to send a message, a little kinky something message, this one will do it. But speaking of what you said with the Juneteenth one, we have this one, which is our Black History Month special edition. And I'll say this, one thing y'all got to know about Kandi Coated Cosmetics is there's always a message in the bottle or in the tube or whatever. And this one has a few different messages on it as you rotate it. It's almost like affirmative. So Kandi, I'll let you play around with the words, and I just, that's something that's a good reminder.
It gives you hashtag I am Black Joy, Black History, Black Legacy.
Come on, Legacy.
And Black Excellence.
Yes, yes.
But on the bottom, it's hashtag I am, it's build, it's support, create. So every time you change it, you can put it with one of these things. Create Black Legacy, or I am Black Excellence, or build Black Joy. Support
I love
Black
the message
history.
in that.
I do too.
And this one is Black Cherry.
Yes.
So it's giving like a chocolate
red under it, like a bricky kind of
like
color to it. I love now that's one of them colors that I'm a dance in.
Okay.
For sure. I cannot wait to play with these ones here. And then, of course, y'all, and we was gonna talk about the lipstick. We always subtly sneak in one that might do a little something extra, right? So the reason why I put these out is because we know we're having this conversation at the beginning of the new year. But when I think about celebrating love, I thought you should get a little love for these lips, and then
the lips below.
Right.
It's important.
Exactly. But there is one word on this lipstick tube, which is sex kitten. And we also have this mini wand. This is the packaging, first of all. I always show this off because before we even get to the product, you're going to be excited to look in your box.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And sex kitten is right here. So I'm going to tell you the truth.
Okay, tell us all about it. I love when you tell the story.
I've been looking for all the nooks and crannies and ways to work with something. This one right here is probably one of my favorite explorative ones.
Really?
Now.
Why?
Yeah, I realized that this gets in good, like any nook and cranny you're trying to get in, it kind of coasts really well. And also like around the nips. It was not, it's a nice soft one, but it's so petite and small, and I travel a lot. So my other wand, I love mic drop, don't get me wrong. It's a powerful one, but it's just not the one that you put in your bag when you're going everywhere. So
wait, is this for personal use
one,
or you?
this is brand new. It's a brand, everything on the table is brand new. But this one has a nice little small pouch. You can throw it in. And it's TSA friendly. I love a TSA friendly.
Right. That part. But that's cute. She's cute.
You said TSA friendly.
It has to be because the scanner is showing you everything.
Yeah.
It's gentle, but it's nice and like.
I gave one of these to a friend for her birthday this December.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't used it for myself.
We got too many toys. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now, just because I realized that like just going through the range. I'm like,
yeah, I know. For me, like when I'm, when you really want to use a toy, not just beta testing. You're gonna have your go-tos that you use often.
More than others. That is true. And what I will say is that
it's a good one, people.
It is. And you couldn't hear it.
I'm looking forward to
She
it.
was psyching. Look. This toy screams Dr. Tamara. When I saw it, I was like, this one right here is going to be it. So we was like, I said, we know we got to make sure Dr. Tamara leaves with one of these.
Yes,
but sure. I'm gonna cut it on for you, Dr. Tamara. Okay. And then for those, whenever you get BK product, you just always got to press and hold it for a few seconds to cut it on and off, because even though it is TSA friendly, we do not need your stuff cutting on in transit or cutting off when you.
I need to take that on my vacation.
It is.
This is really good sensory play.
It is.
Yep.
So how you're using it, right? boyfriend is like super creative. I never thought he was sexologist to sexologist. Let me just say that.
Don't you love that?
I love it because he be having me like, he was like, I was paying attention to that class she was teaching. I'm like, oh, okay. But when it comes to like mapping pleasure, I love that type of thing. So what he did with the wands, we like to do with the wand, is I buy like those microfiber cloths for this area because they're a little bit better. And I like heat. Like I like to get warm sensation. So he'll take a warm cloth and place it over, down below. And then put the vibration on top of it. Really? And the heat and the vibration together.
Yeah.
I should never thought to try that. But okay.
Fireworks. And it actually happened by accident the first time. Because after you go and you clean up, so he went to get a warm cloth. And I was still so sensitive that he was like a little sadistic, and he was like, I'm gonna keep messing with her. So the next thing you know, I'm sitting there thinking everything done. Next thing you know, I was like, oh, but then I was like, hold on now. So I'm just giving you that little, I'm always pro tipping it whenever I find something fun to do with it. I love to like keep it up, because other thing I feel like is, like you said, Ken, you have your go-to, so you get so used to the feeling that it's hard to surprise or get anything new out of it. But baby, that heat was the thing. So Sex Kitten, I feel like is one of those products. I know we always got new stuff over here, but if you're looking to check out a new vibe that's really cute, and it's designed to look like kitten ears. So for my girls who like to have little dainty things, this is a perfect one right here. But Kandi, yes, absolutely. And then a friendly text just to let me know how you felt. I would take feedback. If you find any creative uses, please. Sharing is caring. But yeah, this is gonna be your vacation, because you said you're planning your vacation. I'm gonna see if you switch up on Candy Pop, because I know you like Candy Pop. We're gonna see.
I do, but I personally like to. Whatever.
Another time, another show.
You know what's so funny? I said, I kind of feel like we need to go back to like when it used to be a secret a little bit.
What?
You know how the parties you used to have to come to the party
to get the juice.
So
yeah, well, I mean, it's nothing. I like for somebody to go down on me and use the candy pot.
That's gonna add a little something extra to it.
Yeah. And, or if I'm home alone, I like two sensations at once. So I might have one toy
here, another one
there,
there.
one in there.
Don't make me laugh because I'll be like a little Hindu goddess. I don't be knowing where I be pulling stuff from. You gonna make it? I feel so seen right now, because I'm the same way with this stuff. And even though I like rabbits, it doesn't have the versatility sometimes that I'm looking for.
Not quite.
Right. So sometimes I'm like, no, I need this thing to do something different. So I like that.
Okay. It's not just about to be a stupid code. You can always edit this. But like, say for instance, if you do have like the dual play toy.
Right.
Sometimes like when you put it up, it's not hitting the spot
that you need to.
Right.
So you need something else to do that.
Yeah, so it's good when you do them separately, because you just put them where you need to be.
Where they need to be.
Hands down. So you want to know? I brought Make Me Over out because it's so funny. We couldn't have planned that conversation, but I brought Make Me Over obviously because guys, like, Make Me Over is a veteran. First of all, like, you got to give respect where it's due, because some things are timeless, and this one is like, it's ought to be like that. But reason why I was actually bringing it up now is because when we talk about sensory, and this is where I'm come back to you, Dr. Tamara. Okay. With this one, this is like the perfect one for like everywhere. So with like me, sometimes I find that we're really good at multitasking, but not necessarily our counterparts. If you happen to be somebody who has the same sex relationship, this might not be exactly applicable, because women are typically better at the longitude and latitude of the, y'all know. So the direction of spots. But for me, with guys, they're like doing a lot when they're trying to thrust, and then trying to get them to like hone in on the right spot with their hand on your clitoris or anything like that. Sometimes they just be everywhere.
Yeah.
So I like,
especially if they don't have no moisture on it.
Exactly. So I found that since this thing is so wide, that if they just put it on their hand and they kind of come that way, it always hits. So this is my favorite for helping them hit the spot, if that makes sense. So everybody has different uses, but whenever it's a situation like that, and then because it's on their hand, it don't get lost. You know how if things is going down like it's supposed to, you gonna forget where the toy got put down. But Dr. Tamara, I'm gonna put this in your hand, and then I would love just if you were to be pleasure mapping, right? How would you make this do what it do? How would you?
So first, I'll probably start up here on my neck. Yes, on my neck. Because there's still something about put your hand on my neck.
It's a
reset button. Yes. And then even, it's all kind of a button. Yes. And then like putting it on your throat, even if you're giving head, is also awesome. Yeah, that's also awesome.
So that was actually the thing I was going to tell you. So you know how we got the collar? The captain's desire collar. So I took the make me over and I strapped it through the collar, and then I strapped the collar to my throat so that the thing stayed position.
While you did.
So my hands were free.
Okay.
So, y'all ended up getting it in there.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
I was like, I was getting so frustrated. I was like, how can I get this thing to stay still? And we have two different types of collars, and the smaller one was the one that I used because it fit so easily. And then once it was fastened there, I'll let you know when the wedding is, y'all.
Well, have you ever well, I got a deep voice.
Just give the vibration.
They give the vibration when you give oral.
Yes.
Yes. Or your moan. Sometimes people don't.
It's a similar
kind of sensation. But I found that was actually soothing my throat at the same time. So it was like a 2-for-1 special happening there. I was like, oh, okay, we like getting a throat massage.
And then energetically, it's just doing something a little bit different, stimulating the brain and the nervous system to relax into the space of pleasure. And so as I'm doing this and body mapping all over my body, I imagine and envision wherever the vibe is, and sink deeper into that space, and it intensifies the orgasm and it heightens because you're so present in the moment, and the neuroreceptors
in your skin.
Heighten the sensation.
Proprioceptive system that I know we're using crazy big words, right? We got a little bit of knowledge over here, y'all.
It helps to heighten because the skin is super skin sensitive, right? And so it helps to heighten that orgasm and creates a full body orgasm.
Y'all heard it here first, right? Y'all heard it here first. Now, of course, before we close out, we have one more new product. And we're talking about toys, but I'm a big fan on making sure we always use a little bit of lube with the toys. But I don't know, Kandi, I feel like, I know whenever they're testing out new flavors and stuff, I always be trying to figure out which one was the one you absolutely was like, it was a Kandi pick. I don't know, something about cherry vanilla felt like you might have had a hand in it.
I have to say my partners came, they picked the cherry.
They picked the cherry vanilla? Okay.
But, one thing that I want to say is when we did a couple years ago, our Bedroom Kandi convention, and you did your talk about adding lube to the oral. And then you also said, even when you're doing just like, playing with your foot, use the lube. And I was like, okay.
It works. It works. People,
does.
I play a game at parties.
An extra little.
I probably could play it with y'all. It's easy.
Wait, what game we playing?
It's a very simple one. I always tell people, I have short nails, right? But I always tell people at a party.
Is there a reason?
Yeah.
I was wondering, when certain people have short nails, I be wondering, is there a reason?
You know what it was?
For the
short. It is because I do, every now and again, I tap in on the lady side. And I don't, you got to keep your nails short when you touch your lady parts. Okay, just... And I'm saying that also for the gentlemen who might be tuning in with those super sharp nails and people's creating a macro tears in somebody's vagina. Anyway, we don't like how I feel. So I keep my hands short, but also because I gotta press the car seat buttons and stuff sometimes. So that's the official answer. But what I've done is I find that when I would talk to a lot of Black women about lube, everybody goes straight to the same place. Oh, I don't need this. They all say they don't need it. And that to me, sometimes is like so much miseducation around lube and the use. So what I typically do at a party to kind of get them to see the light is I would like one of you guys to make a super tight fist. And then the goal is for somebody to try to just take their finger and push into the fist. And you're not supposed to let them in. I'm going to hold tight. So Kandi, try to push into my hand. And I'm like,
all right.
Virgin.
Right. Okay.
So then I do just like this. I squeeze tight. And then I put a little drop of lube. And then I say, okay, go get in. And you see that?
You didn't loosen up?
No, I can't.
Wow. That's a good reason to make people realize
when they see the direct, like one drop makes when it comes to that slip in there. And I'm like, it's just
now you sold that. Yes, I never would have thought to do that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And it's a lot of consultants are always trying to do it. And I want to say LaRonda White, and Anisha, a lot of us that had was doing it for a long time. We was always trying to find creative ways to get other women to open their minds because it happens with that. It happens with anal sex. It happens.
Okay, now with anal sex.
That's not your.
That is not my ministry. I'm not doing it.
Not your ministry though.
No. I did it once in my life, and I said I would never do that again.
When I tried it for the first, I was like, I was over there counting like no tomorrow, and I was like, this ain't even sexy. Thank you so much, Jamie. I was like, this ain't even sexy the way you just be, getting a little. Sorry, Kandi.
Well, that's all about position too, though.
What?
Anal sex.
What about it?
You have to be in the right position. Your body has to be relaxed.
And all of those type of things.
And the woman the receiving partner should be the one guiding the process.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You're like, I don't care how you package it. Just know
how you do it.
I do like external things on the anal area more, like licking.
I don't either.
You're not a fan of
it. Doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, it just feels like a wet ass. It don't turn me on a bit.
Well, that's important. You got to know what turns you on.
You got to know what gets you to
you got to know the words.
Yes, it's so funny though. But I find that a lot of guys want to do it, but they don't know the first, second, or last.
Right.
I just tell people, usually when I'm coaching, I tell people start on your back if you are one of those people, because the angling you can get can be more comfortable, but also it's just really not something that everybody
is going to
enjoys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, to me, it's the work. It's a lot of work.
It's some prep work.
And after work and try to work while you're trying to do work. And I'm like, she's ready. She's ready to go. So believe it or not, Kandi, I'm not that far off with how you feel about that. A little.
They have it.
You're like, there's so many other ways to get pleasure, so many other sensations, but not that one.
Yes.
If that's your thing.
That is hilarious. We don't judge.
Yeah, I listen and I don't judge.
I was going to say, we listen not to judge.
We listen and we don't judge.
That's what you like. That's what you like.
We got a product for everything.
We do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we have products for everything. For people who are into anal play, we definitely have, toys for that. I'm just saying for my personal preference, it's never done anything for me.
Well, that's evidence that you don't judge because you still make it available to those.
That's right.
Sure. Like, you're supposed to live your best life.
Absolutely.
However you can get it.
Yes. So first of all, this conversation is hilarious. And I think it's the perfect way to start a new year off. Giving you guys some ideas to dive into your pleasure and honestly, the tips that you guys received on your wellness as well, and how to get centered and get ready for a great year. But Dr. Tamara, I know you have plenty of things you're doing, offering services, things like that. And I would love for you to plug yourself because although we love to keep you to us, we share Dr. Tamara a little bit. So Dr. Tamara, can you tell them anything that's, on the surface that you love to share?
So guess what I got back into just here recently?
What?
pole dancing.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 20 years ago. I took my first pole dancing class when I lived in LA.
Mhm.
And I had gotten away from it. I had kind of fallen out of love with it, but I found that love again. And so, yes, I'm back into pole dancing. I probably will start teaching classes again. I do have a just a somatic movement class, that will help you be centered in your body, focused, that will help you to tap into your sensory experiences, as well as some kind of unpacking of some, deeper stuff that may be going on for individuals who take the class. But it starts next Sunday. Sunday, the 12th at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the beautiful thing about it is a online class. So people can register online at www.holisticallyher.com.
I love
Yeah,
that.
and I'm also writing another book this year. I hadn't written one in a long time. So this one is going to be focused on the little girl, right? The things that I wish I would have known as a young woman and how to heal that inner child and work with her, because little Tammy be cutting up sometimes. She be cutting up,
so
and so just really how to kind of, this book and this year, I'll be 50. So this is going to be that
this year
year of audacity for sure.
Oh, it's about to be an extra.
Listen.
Let me turn to my post notifications.
Definitely don't look it.
Thank you.
You don't.
So, yeah, thank you.
You don't.
That's what I'm doing this year.
I love that, and I can't wait for that book. It's so funny. I just shared with someone recently. I was like, a couple of things I realized that when you have a partner who gives you like an emotional safety, there's a lot of things you start to become very aware of.
Yes.
And one of the things that I said is, he makes me like a little girl. Like, I'll just be sitting there, the little girl in you happy. So I cannot wait to see what's going to be in those pages. Because Dr. Tamara's book, we at BK have always supported Dr. Tamara's book and put them out there. And I Am Sex has blessed plenty of people. So cannot wait.
Thank you so very much. I'm excited. Y'all know I love y'all, and y'all keep having me back. So I'm so forever gracious and grateful. From the beginning, I just knew that this was a company that I had to be a part of. When I first found out about Bedroom Kandi, I'm like, yes, a Black company doing
thank
Black
you.
things with a Black woman. So and thank you for continuously supporting me and having me back. I love y'all. Y'all know I
For
do.
sure. Nothing but love around here. Kandi, is there anything that people need to be watching out you got going on? Because you always got something happening. But was it I know you have the project you were doing with Denzel, the play?
Othello,
right.
Yes. Othello, the first previews start February 22nd.
Oh, okay.
And the official opening night is like March 23rd or something.
Interesting, because that is the weekend I'll be celebrating my anniversary, and I was trying to think of what I might do.
There you go.
Maybe you should come to see Othello.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to come see what's going on.
There you go.
Yes,
that's
on
perfect.
Broadway. I think Denzel said this is going to be his last time doing Broadway, so y'all better come on.
And you don't, that's definitely another reason to turn out. I'm very excited to see what he does with the role, because he definitely always embodies and owns and takes it and makes it like, after he does something, nobody could do it after.
Right.
So
done.
So that's awesome. And guys, we're always gonna have new things going on over here at BK. I should mention, I'm about to launch a Pleasure Institute.
Ooh, okay.
So we need more
Pleasure Institute.
We're trying to teach the people. But in spirit of that, Bedroom Kandi's trying to launch a bunch of new consultants this year. And we're going to be doing some really, really awesome things this month, because we want to make it so that you can start your entrepreneurship journey with no money down. So let me make sure I'm clear. We're giving you a web-based business that you can start, and you can work it in person.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Then all you have to do is head over to bedroomkandi.com. We're going to have a promo code drop on the screen that you're going to want to use when you're going through the process to make sure that you get your kit. But then you can join our family.
Yes.
And learn from more people like Dr. Tamara and herself, from Kandi, from myself, but also you get to get your hands in the kind of work we get to do.
Listen.
It's well worth your time and your energy to join, especially, if we're allowing people to join the business with no money down, basically. It's, I always tell people, being a part of Bedroom Kandi is not just about the toys. It's about the fellowship. It's like we're our own,
the community,
a sorority, or of sorts.
Right, 100%.
We have fellas too, okay? So I don't like to say
sorority,
but
like a own Greek society.
Yeah, our own Greek society.
What I love most is that you set people up for success. If people come in and they truly want to be successful and they truly want to make money and be bosses and all these things, they have an amazing mentor because you set people up for success. People ask me all the time, well, is Kandi at these things? I'm like, yes. And not only is she there, she's embedded in the company, very active in the company. And so is all, thank you. And all the consultants. Yes. We are truly a family. Like the last event that we had.
Oh,
the crews were amazing. Yes. So yeah.
So I would love, and I know Kandi would, and we will all welcome a lot of new people into our community going into the new year. So if you've been thinking about venturing down a new path, we got plenty of love, plenty of support and opportunity here. Go on over to www.bedroomkandi.com and don't get too lost on all the pages. Head to the join one. Okay.
Yes.
You can join the community. You'll get a better purchase discount as a consultant anyway. So that's another plug. But thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another great episode of the Business of Pleasure podcast. And we hope that you are back next week too. Bye.